Ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday, the 18th of May, and Wednesday means Snapshot Day, and today Mojang released the first snapshot for Minecraft 1.10. This one is chock full of new and exciting things, and it is called 16w20a. My name is slicedlime, let me take you on a tour of this snapshot. Let's start in the Overworld. The Overworld has had several new mobs added in. First of all, polar bears. Polar bears spawn randomly in cold biomes. They can spawn adult or cubs. Cubs are peaceful, so if you hit them, they run away. Adults are neutral, so hitting them means they will fight you unless there's a cub nearby, in which case they are always aggressive. If you do kill one, they drop a raw fish or raw salmon. Also in cold biomes, there's a new hostile mob. It's called a stray. It's a new type of skeleton dressed up in blue rags. It behaves just like a skeleton does, but it shoots slowness arrows, making them harder to escape from or fight. If you kill them, they can drop the regular skeleton loot, but they can also drop a slowness arrow. The final new mob is a husk. It is a new hostile enemy that is found in hot and dry areas. The husk is a new type of zombie. It works basically like zombies does. It's retextured and it doesn't burn in daylight. They also give 13 seconds of hunger when they hit a player, so getting hit by a husk causes your food saturation meter to go green, just as if you had been food poisoned. There's a new block as well in the Overworld. It's called the bone block, and it is crafted, if you wish, by placing 9 bone meal into the crafting grid. You can place it on all 3 axes. It has a core that is somewhat darker than the outer parts. It's also found in the Overworld naturally, in a new structure underground in fossils. These fossils can look in various different ways, and they can be made out of the new bone blocks or out of coal ore. They consist of 2 random parts, either a head selected out of one of these different variations as seen in this picture by Samosaurus 6, or a body part, a rib cage if you will. There are other changes to the world generation as well. There are now surface level mineshaft in mesa biomes, just like there has been for a while in Minecraft Pocket Edition. These generate with some stone and also some gold ore around them, so they can be a good place to find gold ore at surface level. Other than that, they look exactly like the normal abandoned mineshafts, except they use dark oak planks instead of the normal oak planks. Currently they also seem to somewhat generate in other biomes, which might be a bug. There's some changes to villages too. There are now wooden planks for bridges over water, and if a village path would replace a grass block, then it now turns into a path block instead of a gravel block. There's also 2 new styles of villages. Savanna biome villages now look different, generating with the local type of wood, and there is a new style of village generating in taiga biomes. Let's move on into the Nether. Endermen now spawn in the Nether, so if the Nether was not dangerous enough for you, here you go. There's a new type of block spawns near lava in the Nether called the Magma Block. It emits a light level of 3 and can be mined with a pickaxe. Special for this block is that it does damage to you if you stand on it, unless you're sneaking or using Frostwalker enchanted boots. It hurts players and mobs, but not items, so it can potentially be a useful new block for traps. Water does not prevent the damage, but fire resistance does. If you have a water source block on top of it, it will boil away after a certain amount of time. If you get killed by a magma block, the death message is, "Your name discovered floor was lava." And if you get killed by a magma block while fighting a player or a mob, the death message is, "Your name walked on danger zone due to," and the player name or mob. There are 2 other nether related blocks as well. They are only craftable and can't be found naturally. The first one of this is the nether wart block, crafted from 9 nether wart in the crafting grid, can be broken by hand and breaks when hit by a water stream. The second craftable block is the red nether brick. It is a slightly lighter colored nether brick block, and it is crafted by placing 2 nether bricks and 2 nether wart in a cross in the crafting grid. There are some changes to the gameplay overall as well. A new auto jump option has been added. It is on by default, but you can go into your options and turn it off if you don't like it. What it does is cause you to automatically jump when approaching a block that you could jump on top of, very similar to how a horse will move uphill. Another feature that has been ported in from Minecraft Pocket Edition is that gravity effect of blocks like gravel and sand will now emit particles downwards if they are hanging in mid-air and would fall if updated. So that gives you a little bit of a warning signal that your roof could cave in. There are now Entity ID aliases for cats, wither skeletons, mules, donkeys, zombie horses, skeleton horses, and elder guardians. What that means is that those names can now be used to refer to those types of mobs. However, they do not work with the /summon command, but at least this means that there are spawn eggs for all of those types of entities in the creative menu now. Let's move to our final big section, and that is going to be stuff related to command blocking and map making. There's a bunch of new stuff for that in this update as well. And let's start with the no gravity tag. That now works with everything in the game, not just armor stands, which is a very welcome change. This might seem trivial at first, but it has very far-reaching implications, as this can be used on items to have them float away when dropped. Arrows and snowballs behave differently when they get a no gravity tag, and boats with no gravity on them can still be controlled while in mid-air, so that can potentially be very useful indeed. The other new big change is of course the structure blocks. They have new textures. They were in the game in Minecraft 1.9, but they weren't usable. Now they come with a usable, easy graphical user interface, and that means that we can use them as map makers. There are 4 modes to the structure blocks. They are save, load, data, and corner. Structures can be stored, bundled, and loaded per world. There's a structures folder in your world folder now that contains all the structures that you have saved with the structure block. They're size limited to 32 blocks in every direction, and there are relative coordinates used inside of them. Structure blocks do have the ability to be activated by command blocks, and L and S, that is load and save structure blocks, can be activated by redstone. Like command blocks, they can only be broken or placed by a player in creative mode with operator privileges if you're playing on a server, and the same goes for saving a structure. That also requires the same privileges. As for the functionality, placing structures is most likely faster than the /clone command in the majority of use cases, which is very welcome indeed, and saving entities is not properly working, so we might get that later, but currently the structure block places blocks, not entities. When using them, you can switch on showing the bounding box of the selected structure, and you can also select indicated cubes that would show you what is an air block and what is a void block. Structure blocks display a name above the block that tells the mode the block is in and the name of the structure it's working on. More on this, of course, in coming videos. Together with the structure block, there is a block I mentioned briefly before. It is a void block, or a structure void block. You can get it by /give your name and Minecraft:structure_void. It is an invisible block, and it has a small hitbox just like an invisible skull. The structure void block is used with structure blocks, and it is used to mark blocks in your structure that you do not want the structure block to replace when placing the structure. Let's move on from the structure block. There is some bug fix that have been done to relative coordinates, and this seems to have had the effect that teleport commands now have a target coordinate that is relative to the command position and not the teleporting entity. At this point, we have some indications from the Minecraft developers that this is indeed a bug and not an intended feature. We'll see how that develops in coming snapshots. This is actually a fairly useful change, but it also breaks almost every single teleport command in use today. There's some changes to existing tags. Zombies have a zombie type instead of is villager and villager profession. There's a new value for that too, and it is value 6, which indicates a husk. Skeleton type has a new value, which is 2, and that indicates a stray. And finally, there's a new limit tag for loot tables, which currently we don't have the full description of. In addition to this, there's just one bug fix listed, and that is fixed the sound engine pitch algorithm not working properly. Pitch accuracy is now sent as a float instead of a byte, and that just basically means that things will sound the way they are intended to. I believe this is especially related to note blocks and playing sounds with the /play sound command. That was a lot of new and interesting stuff, but that is also the end of our snapshot overview. If you want to try this snapshot out, then remember, this is the very first snapshot. It is bound to be somewhat buggy, somewhat incomplete. It can crash the game, it can even corrupt your world, so if you want to try it, then try it on a backup of your world, or on a separate test world. To do so, head into your Minecraft launcher, create a new profile and select Enable Experimental Development Versions Snapshots. Save the profile and select it from the drop-down box in the lower left-hand corner and start the game. You will now be playing the latest snapshot version, which is currently this one, 16w20a. If you want to stay up to date with the coming snapshots, then feel free to subscribe to this channel and keep an eye on my Minecraft news playlist that has an update video for every new version or snapshot released. My name is slicedlime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.